Welcome to Ahead IS. Did you know that even after 75 years of the independence, women make up less than 15% of judges in India's high courts? And only recently did India see its first woman chief justice of a high court. So the judiciary, which is the guardian of our constitution, still reflects deep gender imbalances. So, in this session, in this video, we are going to talk about women in the judiciary in India and the journey, challenges, and why greater representation is not just about equality but about justice itself. So, the Hindu has published the article with respect to this, with the recent report by the some of the organizations that they have mentioned that low women judges in the judicial system. So this is the big question. And what are the structural reforms that are needed to ensure that the bench truly represents half of India's population? So stay tuned as we break down the fact, challenges, and the way forward for the gender justice in Indian courts. So let's start the video. How it goes. First, we'll take up the article that the Hindu has published. It says that low representation of women in India's highest judiciary cause of a concern. So this is the concern actually taken up by the, and this article is based on the recent report by Supreme Court Bar Association SCBA. Okay? Supreme Court Bar Association. So the Supreme Court Bar Association has expressed grave concern over the disproportionate low representation of women judges in the Supreme Court and the High Courts. And this forms the part of our syllabus, the GS paper 2. It is a part of the polity. If you can say it is a governance and social justice and women empowerment. The topic you can say it women empowerment. All right. So we are going to understand each aspect of this particular topic and how it is related to our syllabus and how if question may arise in the future for the mains or the prelims, you can easily answer the question with the clear fact and in a described manner. So if you see low women judges in judiciary, approx 1100 judges, only 11% in the high courts, whereas USA 44%, Canada 55%, and India 11% only. So this is the major cause of concerns. So while you're writing the answers, you can simply put these data in your introductions. All right. So these are the data. Now coming to the exact article, what is it has talked about, right? Supreme Court Bar Association passed a resolution expressing concern over the disproportionate low number of women judges in the Supreme Court, the High Court. The resolution was moved by the President Vikas Singh and Secretary Priya Baghel. What are the concerns? That is the so first concern is the appointment concerns. Recently, Justice Alok and Bipul Pancholi was sworn in the Supreme Court judges. Justice Pancholi's elevation drew criticism because he was ranked 57 in the seniority and had superseded three women High Court judges. So this is the concern actually raised by. So this was seen as a missed opportunity to increase women's representation in the judiciary. So that is one of the concern that this article talks about. All right. What is the second concern? It talks about out of 1100 posts in the High Court, nearly 670 are held by the men and only 103 by the women. यानी 103 seat are held by the women only. So some high courts like Uttarakhand, Tripura, Meghalaya and Manipur have no women judges at all. So in the Supreme Court, there is only one judge, woman judge currently, Justice B. Okay, Nagar, and who is expected to become first Chief Justice of India in 2027. See, after the you know Independence, 75 years, more than 75 years of the independence. First Chief Justice of India going to be in 2027. So this is a grave concern actually that has we need to think it of, right? Again, what is the next concern that it talks about? Disappointment over Supreme Court appointments. The SCAB expressed strong disappointment that the recent appointments no women judges from the bar or the bench was elevated to the Supreme Court. What are the demands that we need to understand? Senior advocates like Vikas Singh written to the Chief Justice of India B.R. Gawai urging the proportional representation of women judges be ensured in both Supreme Court and the High Courts. So the association demanded corrective steps to ensure fair representations. All right. And what is why this concern is the gender disparity. Women from nearly half of the population, but their representation in the higher judiciary remains very low. Half of the population, if you talk about, still their representation in the judiciary is very low. And diversity in the justice. Having more women judges can bring sensitivity and inclusiveness in the judgments, especially on the issues concerning women and marginalized sections. And if you see for the global comparison, India far back from the other countries. Just now we have seen that in if you go for Canada and countries like USA, 44% contribution. Canada has a 55%, whereas India has 11% only. So this is the very you know grave concern for India's judicial system that after 75 years of the independence we are still facing such issues. So let's break it down in the initial phases, the judiciary or this something. All right. Then okay, let's talk about the historical background. We will first understand what are the historical background women in judiciary in India. So first we need to talk historical background. If you see in the colonial period, at the time the Britishers were India, so judiciary was male dominated. Women were largely excluded from the legal education and profession. And post independence क्या हुआ? First woman judge of the High Court, Justice Anna Candy, Kerala High Court 1959. First woman judge of the High Court बनी. दूसरा केस क्या हुआ? First woman judge of the Supreme Court, Justice Fatima Vivi, 1989. And first woman Chief Justice of High Court, Justice Leela Seth, Himachal Pradesh. ठीक है. So these are the history if you go back, the role of women in the judicial system. But as of now, 2025, India have ever women chief justice. Justice VV is expected to become the first woman chief justice of India in 2027. So this is the historical background that question may arise in the prelims also, because this is a very important topic of a syllabus. If you see the current status of the role of the women in the judicial system, Supreme Court out of 34 sanctioned judges, usually 3 to 4 are women, approximately 10%. This is a very less number. And in the High Court, if you see 1100 sanctioned posts, only 100 women judges, approximately 11%, that we earlier talked about also. So these are the data that you need to put your answers so that you can fetch a very good marks. Several high courts like Uttarakhand, Tripura and Meghalaya have no women judges. So this is the biggest issues, and why these challenges are there. So we need to understand. First, we'll understand that what are the reason is structural barriers. The collegium system lacks transparency and accountability. Few women lawyers reach senior advocates position due to biasness and limited opportunities. So this is a structural barrier that you can see it. So अगर क्वेश्चन आता है issues पर कि challenges क्या है, तो पहला लिख सकते हो structural barrier. दूसरा पॉइंट यहाँ पे लिख सकते हो, व्हाट आर द सेकंड पॉइंट, सोसाइटल एंड कल्चरल फैक्टर, सोसाइटल एंड कल्चरल फैक्टर्स, लाइक क्या है, पेट्रियार्कल माइंडसेट. So, women faces a stereotype that judiciary is a male domain and career breaks due to marriage, child care, family responsibility reduces long-term career progression. ठीक है. थर्ड ऑप्शन क्या हो सकता है, वर्क प्लेस चैलेंजेस, तो कोर्ट schedules and lack of support system, maternity leave flexibility, child care facilities, gender bias within the bar council and the law firms. So these are the points that you can. Next point is the institutional gap, like no reservation policy for women in the judiciary. Collegium often overlooks the capable women judges while elevating male counterparts with similar or lower seniority. So if you, the global comparison, if we go for the USA itself, if you take the USA, 4 women have served in the US Supreme Court. Currently, out of 9 justices are women, yani 44%. It's a huge number. This data must be used in your answers. Then you definitely get a good marks. If you see the UK, the Supreme Court has had multiple women justices, around 27% are women. Canada, 5 out of 9, around 55%, so huge number. Even the South Africa, around 30% of constitutional court judges are women. India, only 11% women in the higher judiciary, lags behind, far away from these countries. Even the South Africa, if you see, India only 11%. It's a very, grave concern for the after 75 years of the independence. So, why women judges are important? This is the biggest question. Why do we need more women in the justice system? So that gender sensitive perspective in cases like sexual violence, domestic abuse, family law can be considered as a strong perspective. Diversity enhances the justice. So different life experiences improve the quality of the judgments. Public trust increases when judiciary reflects society's composition. Role model effects inspire young women law students. Okay, so these are the things that you need to remember in the points. Why, if somebody asks, or either in interview or the mains paper, they ask why do we need more women in our justice system, so the answer should be gender sensitive perspective will be there, diversity enhances the justice, creates the public's trust, and role model effects that inspire the law, new women, new students towards the law. So, breaking down the patriarchal and the stereotype mindset by promoting more women in the justice system and in our legal system, right? So, what are the way ahead that you can put that reforms that we needed? So, first we'll call it the Collegium reform that you need to move, reservation of women in the judiciary, pipeline development like encourage the women law graduates to enter in the litigation, scholarship, mentorship chamber by the women, and workplace reform, child care facility, flexible schedules, maternity benefit, leave policy, harassment free workplaces with a strong grievance redressals. And what are the others? Awareness and the societal changes, global best practices adoptions, like codes like as in Rwanda where gender codes are applied in the multiple institutions. ठीक है, so हमने बहुत सारी चीजें इसमें सीख ली हैं, दैट कि रोल ऑफ वुमेन इन द जुडिशियरी. चलो ये लास्ट में विल कंप्लीट कि हमने सब कुछ क्या कवर कर लिया, बहुत ये सारी काफी चीजें हमने देख ली. नाउ कमिंग टू दी few of the committees that they have recommended, how what are the things that required for. ठीक है, जैसे if you see committees report on the women in the judiciary, if you see the law commission also suggest 14th report में बोला उन्होंने, 15th report में भी बोला. ठीक है, and 230th report in 2019 reform in the judiciary, and it clearly says that the representation of women in the higher judiciary has been dismal and needs immediate correction. And if you go for the National Commission to review the working of the Constitution, NCRWC 2002, headed by Justice Aman Venkat, right? So what he has said, he has said, overserve that judiciary must reflect the diversity of the society, including women, SC, ST, and minorities. Recommended measures to enhance the representations. So you need to understand the law commission is suggested that NCWC RWC is there. Parliamentary Standing Committee is also suggested that in its many of the reports 85th, 103rd and 133rd. And if you see there is a Justice J.S. Verma Committee, Criminal Law Reform, is also suggested that formed after the Nirbhaya case highlighted lack of the gender sensitivity in the judiciary. So he also suggested that more women judges to bring empathy in handling the sexual violence and gender crimes in India. ठीक है. Supreme Court initiatives भी लिया है, but there are so many things and other things also required for this. So many reforms is also 2018 Conference on Women in Judiciary SCN Bar Council discussions. So Supreme Court itself admitted that the women representation in the higher judiciary is abysmally low and must be addressed through the systematic changes. ठीक है. So these are the aspect that we have talked about, and if you understand it, ठीक है. So coming to the final, what we have discussed till now, that we must know. First आपको ये पता होना चाहिए, this is the part of our syllabus. पार्ट ऑफ द सिलेबस. अब वो सिलेबस क्या हो सकता है? पॉलिटी यानी जीएस पेपर 2. इट फॉर्म्स द पार्ट ऑफ द गवर्नेंस, सोशल जस्टिस एंड वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट. ठीक है, वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट. So these are the topics and subtopics that question may rise in any of the paper. That is why I have taken this perspective to explain it properly. तो आपको अगर ये पता हो कि किस का पार्ट का सिलेबस है, then it is very easy for you to understand the whole things and you can easily prepare this topic. So एक प्रॉपर इंट्रोडक्शन जिसमें ये डेटा आपको यूज करना है ढंग से. देन आपको पता होने चाहिए कि इंडिया का जुडिशियल सिस्टम कैसा है. तो ये डेटा यूज करके आप उस पर प्रॉपर नोट्स बना सकते. एक पहले तो इंट्रोडक्शन लिखना है, ठीक है. इंट्रोडक्शन में ये डेटा यूज करो जो डेटा मैंने दिया हुआ है, क्लियर. दूसरा, फिर जब मेन बॉडी में आंसर लिखना होगा, देन यूज दिस व्हाई वुमेन मोर वुमेन नीडेड इन दिस. तो एससी जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट बार काउंसिल एसोसिएशन है, ठीक है, इसका जो अभी रिसेंट में जो ये डेटा हुआ है उसको प्रॉपरली ऐड कर सकते हो ढंग से. अगर क्वेश्चन इश्यूज रिलेटेड आता है कि वो है, तो मैंने इश्यूज भी एक्सप्लेन कर दिया है. क्वेश्चन आता है वे अहेड, तो वे अहेड भी मैंने अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन कर दिया है. व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस फेस्ड बाय द, ठीक है, तो चैलेंजेस भी मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया है. और उसके बाद क्वेश्चन हो सकता है जो आपको वैल्यू एड में लिखना है कि डिफरेंट कमिटीज के रिकमेंडेशंस जो हैं, कमिटीज के रिकमेंडेशंस दैट आल्सो आई हैव गिवन इन दिस वीडियो. ठीक है, तो ये सारी चीजें मैंने ढंग से एक्सप्लेन कर दी हैं एंड दिस फॉर्म्स आवर पार्ट ऑफ द सिलेबस एंड दैट इज व्हाई इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. So you need to prepare this topic comprehensively so that you, if question may arise in the future directly or indirectly, you can use the data, this concept in the proper manner and you can easily get a good marks in this. All right. So this is all about that I have discussed. Okay. And I am taking this topic as per the requirement of our syllabus. So it is a topic wise preparation of the and taking the recent current affairs, articles. So choosing a particular topic from the current affairs and assimilating it or supplementing with our part of the syllabus, covering the different dimensions of the particular topic and also supplementing with the PYQs. So this is the holistic and complete coverage of the particular topic. So either in prelims or the mains or the interview, you can easily answer if the question are there. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video, and I will again come with the next video in which I will be taking another important issues or the topic that are part of our syllabus and that has a great emphasis in a different perspective. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you.